Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here because today I'm going to teach you a new strategy. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love strategies. Through my experience as a fertility patient, but also in my many decades, I won't even say, of practice, I've learned so many important lessons. And I like to boil them down to simple strategies. And today I have a big one. This is a strategy that I wish I had when I was going through fertility treatment. It's a 10-step process that will help you make better decisions in your family building journey, but you can actually use it anytime. Now, in the show notes, I've included a free workbook that will help you go through each one of these steps. And I'm also including a stress reduction strategy from my community membership, absolutely for free, to help you regulate your nervous system. You will use both of these tools through this process. If you want, you can certainly use a notebook or a journal or a piece of paper, but it's really helpful to write these things down because it really helps it stick better. From our Building Your Family community, this is the Building Your Family podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Schumann, author, researcher, and reproductive medicine therapist. Now, in my personal journey, I had a theoretical understanding of what I'm about to teach you now, but it really didn't resonate. I was so stressed through my fertility journey that I couldn't see the forest through the trees. So I certainly don't expect you to either. Eventually, I reached a turning point. My desire to become a parent was more important than continuing with treatment. So I embraced non-genetic parenthood and had a lot of struggles along the way, even as a parent. But through all of the heartaches and hardships that I endured in my fertility treatment and even difficulties in parenting, I kept coming back to the same thing over and over again. But before we dive in, I want you to remember that only you can decide what's right for you. Only you know if non-genetic parenting is right for you. Only you know if you need to take breaks, how much money you want to spend, if your partner is on board with you, if you feel that you can endure more treatment. There's so many decisions to make, and only you know what's right for you. Now let's dig in. Let's start with stress. As you know, stress is a major driver for dropout in fertility treatment. So many people drop out of fertility treatment even when their insurance covers their treatment. And you would think if their insurance was covering treatment, they would continue. But many people drop out because it is that stressful. And all of the other issues that come along with third-party reproduction add more stress, right? Choosing a donor, choosing an agency, thinking about what non-genetic parenthood or not carrying a pregnancy will be like. There are so many stressors involved. And so it's very natural to be stressed through this process. Now, one thing we know about stress is that it narrows your focus. And many of you know that our bodies go into fight, flight, or freeze when we're stressed. And that's natural. Our bodies are trying to protect us from danger. Now, many eons ago, when we had to fight the lion or the bear, our bodies would tell us if there was danger around. And so we focused on that thing more intensely. And we can see that in life, right? As I've said in other podcast episodes, when you are in a situation of crisis, maybe somebody cuts you off in your car or some scary noise explodes, you immediately turn around and focus on that particular thing. It's very hard to have a wide range of focus if you're dealing with a crisis. And infertility is experienced as a crisis. Your body doesn't know that it's not a potential car accident or a lion or a bear trying to get you. It just narrows the focus so you can attack that problem. Unfortunately, it doesn't do anything. As we all know, focusing on fertility treatment more doesn't help. So we know that it just continues to cause our body more and more stress, which raises our cortisol and is not good for our health. Now, of course, we're not doing this deliberately. This is just what happens to our body. But chronic stress continues until we feel that it's time to rest. Now, here's the important part. Chronic stress does not only change how you feel, but it changes how you make decisions. It changes how you look at things. As I just mentioned, your focus is narrow. And so you're not looking at things with all of the options, with all of the perspectives that you could potentially have, even when you don't realize it. Now, in most places in our lives, this experience does not necessarily create a big impact. So, for example, if we're overly stressed and we snap at our spouse, we apologize and we take it back. Maybe we find out that we're really upset. Maybe we're hungry or tired and not thinking clearly. So maybe we'll have a cup of coffee or go get a breath of fresh air. And then we go back to what we're doing, right? Because we want to make sure that we have a little more clarity. And we don't want what feels impulsive to affect our decision making and to affect our relationships. But usually there isn't a big consequence for that. But in fertility treatment, the consequences could be huge. When we think about the decisions that we're making, are we going to stop treatment or are we going to pause? Are we going to spend more money or not? Are we going to choose a donor? Are we going to choose a particular agency or clinic? All of these decisions can have a big impact on our future family, and many of them are irreversible. Now, let's go back to the idea that our body is full of stress and our body wants to relax, right? If we're being chased by the lion, we have the opportunity to relax when we get away. But in fertility treatment, it just goes on and on. So our bodies are looking for a place to relax and to feel better. And that's natural. But what happens then? That can influence the decision making. And our bodies can reflexively look for places that feel better. Now, what feels better to you and to me can be very different things. And everybody has a different experience based upon their treatment, their state of mind, their history, and so many other factors. But let's think about some things that might make you feel better. Maybe you feel uncomfortable because you're using the genetics of somebody that you don't know to build the most intimate relationship of your life, the relationship with your child. And that feels really uncomfortable to your system. And you're already stressed. And so you see this picture of a donor who reminds you of your mother, or has the IQ that you have, or maybe has the dimples of your sister. And there's something that makes you feel good about this donor. Or maybe you like the way this donor writes, or that they're athletic or musical. There can be so many things that can contribute to that choice. Maybe you are looking for an agency or a clinic and you are attracted to the website, or you speak to somebody on the phone and they seem really nice and you feel like that will be a place that will be good for you. And there's so many other factors to consider. There are genetic factors. There's statistics of clinics and doctors. There are agency reviews and history and expertise. There's so many other things to consider when you're making these decisions. And yet, very often it doesn't occur to people because they are so stressed and their body looks for comfort. Their body is looking for something to feel good about. I want to reiterate that all of us do this at times. All of us choose things to make us comfortable, even when we don't realize it. I did it in my own fertility journey, and I've done it many times in my life. But I can tell you that if we think about this a little bit differently, we actually have more control than we think. And we're better able to move the needle in our family building journey with some perspective. So let's think about how to do that. Now, you may be thinking, well, Lisa, I really like this doctor, or I really like this donor, or I really fell in love with this surrogate. I really want to use her. And I understand that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't factor your emotions into this process. You absolutely should. They're important for so many reasons, but they shouldn't be driving you. They shouldn't have the steering wheel. The comfort and relief that you get from this nice experience is great. But let's put it on the back burner for a moment and weigh in some practical matters that actually could help. I'm going to ask you 10 questions and want you to be able to think about them with a different state of mind. So first, I would like you to take a look at the meditation and see if you like it. If you don't, that's fine. Everybody has a different way of de-stressing and relaxing. So if you find that going out for a run is great for you, or doing some yoga, do whatever you need to do to to get yourselves into a good place where you feel much calmer and feel like you can take in a wider perspective. If we take a flashlight and we put it very close to a page, we can see that it's very, very focused light on one small spot on the page. But if we pull the flashlight backwards, we can see that light expand. And our brains are the same way. If we are really focused on this one narrow idea, it's very hard to have a broad perspective. So let's calm our nervous system first, and then let's dive into the questions. Now that you've done that, ask yourself, do I feel any calmer? Is my breathing easier? Are my shoulders down? Am I feeling a little bit more comfortable in my own skin? If the answer is no, then I think it's important to do more of that thing that helps you de-stress before attacking these questions. So press the pause button and come back when you're ready. Okay, are you feeling calm? Good. Question number 1. What does your average workday look like? You don't need to be aspirational and think about all the best moments of your day. Just honest about what your average day is like. From waking up to bedtime, what are the things you do? What do you see? How do you feel? Who do you talk to? Just put down some basics about your average day. Number 2, what does your average weekend look like? When do you get up? What do you like to wear? What do you like to do on the weekends? Who do you see? What's important to you? Think about what your average weekend looks like and write that down too. Number 3, write down what parts of my life I like most. So it could be anything, a part of your day at work, maybe somebody that you see at home and interact with, maybe a walk. It could be anything that you like that really feels good in your day. This is not something that happened years ago. This is in present day. Write it down freely, jot down as many things as you can. Now, when you're done, let's look at the other side. Number 4, what are the things that are most distressing or upsetting in my life right now? Now, we are noticing, we are not judging. So no criticism of yourself, no judgments about yourself. But what are the things that are most stressful in your life and upsetting for you right now? Just start to jot them down. Number 5, for this one, I'd like you to close your eyes, take in a few breaths. You can put the pen or paper down, relax, check your shoulders, make sure that your neck is loose, your shoulders are down, and take in a few deep breaths. And when you do that, make sure your exhale is longer than your inhale. Now, in your mind's eye, think about what your life would look like in 1 to 3 years from now. Just picture a scene. It could be at home, it could be away on vacation, it could be with family or friends, it could be any place you like. Think about what you're wearing. Think about how you feel in your body. Think about the area around you. And are there people around? And if so, what are they saying to you? What does it smell like? And how does it make you feel to be in that moment, to be in that experience? What is the feeling that it evokes for you? Now, once you've done that, open your eyes and write down some things about what you saw. What you saw, what you felt, what was important to you, what you enjoyed, all of the things that you can remember. Now, for number 6, I would like you to look at that long list and take 3 of the most important things to you of that list and circle them. Now, can you describe them? Maybe I feel aligned with my values and the way that I love to have relationships. Maybe I feel so happy and joyful with my child. Maybe I'm feeling very connected to my friends and family. Maybe I'm feeling excited about my new work opportunity. Whatever it is, write out how you're feeling about those 3 things. Number 7, what needs to be true in order to have this future life? So it could be health, it could be more money, it could be a new job, it could be a partner, it could be anything that's important for you and will allow you to be in the state of where you want to be in 1 to 3 years. Number 8, now I'd like you to sort your list. So I'd like you to think about all of these things on the list and put an X through the things you have no control over, a circle around the things that you have some control over, and a heart around the things that you have full control over. So things that you don't have control over might be things like, unfortunately, the eggs or sperm are not working, or we have this genetic issue. Things that I have some control over are maybe I don't have enough money to continue treatment or to afford a sperm or egg donor, but perhaps there are other ways. I could take out loans, borrow money, work a little bit harder, and then I can get the money for these treatments. For the hearts, they could be things like, I need to decide if I want to continue treatment or not. I need to choose a donor. I need to choose a surrogacy agency. I need to think about the next steps with my doctor. There can be so many things that you can put your heart around because those are things that maybe you haven't made a decision about yet, but they are inside of your control. Number 9. Now I want you to look at that list and think about where you spend all your energy. Is it on the things that you have a lot of control over, or things that you don't have control over, or things you have a little control over? And we don't need to make any decisions right now, but it's important to think about where your energy is going. Number 10. Now we're going to choose our areas for focus in the coming year. We're going to pull the flashlight out and widen our focus. So let's look at all the places that you've circled or you put a heart around, and let's think about them. Without jumping to conclusions, how are you feeling about them now? Now, if you feel like there's an immediate response, that's fine, but it may be worthwhile to try to get some perspective. Maybe talk to your friends and family about these ideas. Maybe do some more research before you dive in. Maybe talk to a seasoned counselor. If you feel like you're blocked and you can't get any more perspective, that can be very helpful. But start to think about them in other ways, because although you've done this exercise and although you've calmed your nervous system, it may still not be calm enough. And sometimes, even if it's a little calmer, you can start to let in other pieces of research, other perspectives, other ideas that can help you look at this a little bit differently. Now remember, we're not disregarding your initial inclination to choose something that may have been very important to you at the time. We still have that on the shelf. That is not evaporated. But we're putting it aside so that we can start to think about this a little bit more deeply, because you want to make sure that these decisions are right for you, not just for the short term, but for the long term. While you go through this, you may feel the inclination to jump at an answer, but not everything requires a yes or a no. It's also important to keep in mind that some answers have only short-term solutions. It may be that some answers require a time limit or a budget limit or some other variable that we haven't thought about yet. And so it's really important to make sure that you think through this, do your research, talk to other people, try to figure out different ways of looking at this before you jump into a decision. The goal is for you to be able to put your anxious self on the shelf for a moment and acknowledge that you have feelings about these situations, you have preferences, and you have desires. But what your calm voice deep inside really knows is that these decisions really require careful thought. And it's important to be able to give it that careful thought that it deserves. These are lifetime decisions in most cases and really need to be thought about carefully. Give this some time. And over time, you might see that some of the circles really require an X. That's not you flip-flopping. That is you trying to take care of your nervous self that is going through a lot and having a really hard time. By doing this exercise, you're taking deeper care of yourself and investing in your future in a much more thoughtful way. In the end, you may come up with the same results that you had in the first place, and that's okay. At least it will clarify for you that those are the things that you really want. But it's important to give your future family the time and effort that it deserves, and the consideration to give your emotional brain a rest so that you can make these decisions with clarity and purpose. If you found this helpful, you know you don't have to do it alone. In the Building Your Family community, we offer expert guidance with great support systems, lots of tools and resources that you can use on your fertility journey to build your family through IVF, IUI, donor conception, or surrogacy. We have spent decades helping individuals and couples with these exact issues, griefs, and joys, and we're here to help you too. You're invited to join us anytime. If you want your questions taken seriously, you want your values respected, and you want your future family held with care, please join us at familybuilding.net. We have lots of help for you there. And with that, I wish you steadiness, support, and a family building journey that really feels like yours in 2026 and beyond. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this was helpful to you. And if you'd like more personalized support, more information, and more education, you can find it in the show notes under the Building Your Family community. We'd love to see you inside. And if you were interested in today's topic, you will really like this video.